arrested and doing time in Mexico. Everybody extradited over there and doing their time there. That'll be justice for us as of now.
Can you say anything?
We can't say anything. Yeah, we can't say anything about it, but they're working on it.
For the longest time, virtually everyone has been more or less focused on how the Cabo Six might have plotted Shanquella Robinson's murder to the last detail. But a new update has just proven that there might actually be some element of truth to their story. That's right. That wobbly story Shanquella's friends told the world about how there was a mix-up in what the authorities said was the cause of her death and what was actually the cause of her death just might have been the plan of the hospital that was initially called when she went unconscious. Apparently, there's an even deeper conspiracy with that hospital, and let's just say I'm about to blow your mind with these new details. It's no secret that the whole world has basically been focused on the Cabo Six for having something to do with the untimely and vaguely explained death of their friend Shanquella Robinson. But new reports have just revealed that it might not have actually been entirely their fault. According to the new details that have just come out, the hospital that was supposed to have treated Robinson seems to have had plans of its own, which might have actually made things worse for her and even led to her ultimate demise. According to excerpts from a police report obtained by the Charlotte Observer, a doctor from a local hospital in Cabo, Mexico was with Robinson and other house members for almost 3 hours before she was pronounced dead on October 29th. The partial police report was provided to the Charlotte Observer by an investigative reporter from Metropoli MX, a news publication in Mexico. In the report, authorities say at 2:13 p.m. on October 29th, medical aid was summoned to the villa where Robinson and her vacation crew were staying, located in San Jose del Cabo. An hour later, Dr. Gutierrez from the American Medical Center, a local hospital in the area, arrived to assist Robinson. Gutierrez was then told by others at the house that Robinson had drunk a lot of alcohol. He then decided to give Robinson an IV. The report goes on to say that Gutierrez found a female, understood in the report to be Robinson, with stable vital signs but dehydrated, unable to communicate verbally, and appearing to be inebriated. Gutierrez then told the other housemates he believed Robinson needed to be transferred to a hospital, but her friends insisted that she be treated at the villa. Dr. Gutierrez then tried to give Robinson an IV but was unsuccessful. However, the new update in the case has revealed that there was actually a reason the Cabo Six had insisted on her getting the treatment there. According to details from her friends themselves, they had reportedly called a hospital even before Dr. Gutierrez came into the picture. However, they were met with the surprise of their lives as the hospital reportedly billed them $6,000 before any form of care could be given to Robinson, even though it was already pretty obvious that her condition was critical. This is what actually led them to contact the American Medical Center and by extension Dr. Gutierrez. According to the police report, an hour into Gutierrez's house visit, Robinson began to have a seizure. 911 was called shortly after by one of the housemates. By this point, Shanquella Robinson was struggling to survive. She was suffering from difficulty breathing and a lowered pulse. At 4:49 p.m., Gutierrez detected Robinson had stopped having a pulse. They quickly began giving her CPR. The report says police arrived at 5:25 p.m. and paramedics administered a total of 14 rounds of CPR, 5 doses of adrenaline, and 6 discharges without success. Shanquella Robinson was pronounced dead at 5:57 p.m., according to the report. However, the fact remains that the hospital, which is called St. Luke's Hospital, had its own goals in mind when the incident was first reported. And while this doesn't completely negate all the atrocities committed by the Cabo Six, this move that the hospital pulled is actually something that's been happening to U.S. citizens vacationing Mexico for a while now. According to the news, the hospital has made its mantra to always overcharge all American citizens if they have anything to do with healthcare. And now it's gotten out of hand. So out of hand that even the American government is aware of just how terrible this hospital has been to American citizens over the years. According to reports from Washington, the U.S. government is warning Americans to avoid a hospital at a Mexican beach destination, following years of complaints that the facility preyed on Americans by overcharging, bullying them, and refusing to release medical records. More than 100,000 U.S. tourists arrive in Los Cabos at the southern tip of the Baja California Peninsula each month, drawn by its beaches and dramatic desert landscape. It appears they are not only a boon to the hotels and restaurants of twin towns Cabo San Lucas and San Jose del Cabo, but also St. Luke's Hospital in Cabo San Lucas. Multiple complaints have been filed by U.S. citizens saying the hospital demanded tens of thousands of dollars in advance payments, threatened patients' relatives, and refused to release clinical reports on what care they had actually provided. That led the U.S. consulate in Tijuana to issue the unusual health alert about St. Luke's business practices. U.S. citizens have reported instances of withholding care for payment, failing to provide itemized lists of charges, ordering unnecessary procedures, withholding U.S. passports, obstructing medical evacuations, and refusing to discharge patients without payment. The consulate said in the alert. The consulate urged U.S. citizens to go to other hospitals listed on the consulate's webpage. Considering that these details actually came from the federal government, it tells you that the account that was given by Shanquella's friends actually checks out. But the news about the hospital gets even worse. There is some evidence that St. Luke's pays or otherwise compensates ambulances and hotels to send American patients there. The consulate wrote, "Please be advised that hotels and resorts in the Los Cabos area may have existing contracts or informal relationships with St. Luke's." That was an apparent reference to reports in local media that the hospital pays ambulance drivers to channel American patients to St. Luke's. Looks like there's almost no end to just how far the hospital is willing to go just to get a few bucks in their pocket. However, this does not in any way translate to Shanquella's friends not being involved. In fact, you could say they are just as sketchy as the hospital because there were quite a few holes in their story. You see, while Robinson's body had already been examined by professionals in the country, it's worth mentioning that none of Robinson's physical injuries were mentioned in the report. According to the autopsy report, Robinson's cause of death was severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which has left her family searching for answers. For the original story, Shanquella Robinson died within the first 24 hours of a group trip to Cabo, Mexico, and now her family is trying to piece together why and how she died. The 25-year-old went on a trip to Mexico with her friends and never made it back alive. And while her death is indeed tragic, it was how she died that was generating an outsized amount of commentary on social media. Robinson went to Cabo with a group of 6 friends and was found dead in a hotel room less than 24 hours later. The friends called her mom and said she died from alcohol poisoning. But the autopsy report showed her neck had been broken and her spine was cracked. A video purportedly shows Robinson being brutally beaten by another woman in an apparent hotel room with a tropical view seen from a balcony. The woman in the video, identified as Robinson, is not shown defending herself in the one-sided fight. The brief clip shows Robinson being punched in the head and face multiple times and thrown on the floor before more blows are rained down on her. According to recent news reports, the Federal Bureau of Investigations has now gotten involved in the suspicious death of Shanquella Robinson. The federal agency has allegedly intervened on behalf of Shanquella's parents, Salamandra and Bernard Robinson, who reported her death after Mexican authorities suggested there was no foul play. However, this new angle involving St. Luke's Hospital just might be the one piece they needed all along to close the case. In fact, a lot of people now also seem to think the medical professionals involved in the whole case should also face the law. Like this user who wrote, "The doctor who came to the villa to treat Shanquella Robinson told her friends that she needed to go to the hospital, but her friends refused. The doctor needs his or her license revoked and to face criminal charges as well." No one is sure if the FBI will actually pick an interest in this aspect of the whole story, but one certain thing is that all the medical professionals involved in the case are now on the public radar, and that just brings the truth one step closer to getting out. Now it's only a matter of time till we find out everything that happened exactly, but until then, we wait. That's it for this video. Goodbye.